I used to tell you about the girl that used to when I used to live in the apartment. I used to go to that gym, and she would literally just sit there and take pictures of her like on
Yep, I've seen that. Yep.
the devices. Like she wouldn't actually use them. All right, let's see if I'm streaming here. I gotta tell you, it's a lot easier setting this up when everything's already set up than I was trying to do it remotely a couple weeks ago. But
It looks like you're sitting at an arcade machine. Like, because the way the little triangle comes out, it kind of makes it look like, like you sit like an arcade game.
Oh, like over here?
Yeah, and the top part looks like the top part of the console of the arcade, like the cabinet.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, it does. It does. Can you kind of see it? And you look at the monitor.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's the it's the Arty 84 show. Actually, we gotta change the title here. It's actually episode 27. Let's see. Can I do that without screwing everything up? I think I can. All right, it is changed. All right, it's the Arty 84 show, episode 227 here, the last episode of the year. Of course, Adam the Mallet to the left.
Hello. I
have limited voice, so we'll see how far we can get. But I'm drinking a nice herbal tea that I made from the I made it from the sweat of an ancient Roman warrior.
Dude, I'm loaded up on that stuff. If you needed some tea, man, I got shit.
I got a nice varietal tea. Years ago, I was doing this project for a Chinese restaurant, and the guy was like from China. And like during the holidays, he brought in like a box of like actual tea leaves. Like you need a little you need a little thingy to dip it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been getting into the chai teas lately. That's my new thing, chai tea latte.
Yeah.
So I've been looking into how to make it. It's like just basically boiling tea leaves, in the water, and then taking it, and then you add a little foam milk to it. So I'm very excited about that in Denver. I'm going to try it tomorrow. Yeah.
I had to drink a lot of that when I went to Peru to try to, because it can help elevation sickness.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Maybe what happens if you go underwater?
It's a question.
Do you know a funny fact? Want to know a fun fact?
I always.
Do you know the difference between the lowest point of the Earth, which is like that big fault in the water, that gap, that trench, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And the highest point on the planet is only 11 miles.
I mean, that's still pretty, like, what do you think about that, though, in terms of, like, that sky? That's still pretty that's pretty high.
It is pretty crazy when you think 11 miles. Like, so, for example, an average visibility from, say, the Prudential building on a clear day is 10 miles. So, basically, if you're on the top of the Pru and it's a beautiful, clear day, and you're looking straight on to the last piece of whatever you can find, that's 10 miles. That's the equivalent of being in the lowest point of the planet to the highest point of the planet. Which makes
we're not talking about, maybe I read things wrong. You're talking about like literally from the bottom of the trench in the water to the sky.
Right, yeah.
But there's always debate about where the sky ends. Like what?
Oh, no, not to the sky, to the top of the mountains. It's like the top of Everest.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Okay.
So,
I thought you meant like to the stratosphere or some shit.
Yeah, no. From the tip of Everest to the bottom of the trench. Because the trench is like 5 miles deep and Everest is 6 miles high. When you think about 6 miles high, you don't really think that 6 miles is nothing. You know what I mean? You can walk 6 miles. Try to do that straight up in the air.
But that's still not to the core of the Earth. And that's still like several miles below that. But that's
still
fucking deep. Yeah.
The Earth is hollow. It's like the moon.
Or is it flat? Can we poke a hole right through it?
Speaking of which, 66, 66.
Planet is older than the core when Earth was formed.
Okay. Right. So do you realize that only 66% of people on this planet think the Earth is round? Isn't that alarming that a third of the planet still think that we're not a spare?
How many? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Well, 33%.
How many?
33. 33 think we're flat. Isn't that wild? Isn't that shockingly alarming?
It is. And it's not even taking account how many think are hollow.
Right.
You're just talking about flat.
So. Right. Some people might think we're flat and hollow.
And you know what? Both of them are stupid. But I feel like if you had to pick which one's more likely, I would go hollow.
I would think
flat,
so too.
Even though they're both stupid. In a sense,
the Earth is kind of hollow. Not to, because it's molten lava down there, right?
You can say cavernous. I guess you could say.
Right. Yeah, cavernous. Right. Maybe there's like a. You think there's like a little golf ball? Like you ever cut open a baseball and you have that little cork ball in the middle?
Yeah.
I think the Earth looks like that. You think there's a little cork ball in there?
Well, according to Admiral Byrd, who was part of Operation High Jump, which is the U.S. government and Europe's mission to the Antarctic, and they went down there. It was one of the biggest training missions in U.S. history, and they went down there. And according to General Byrd's journals, he actually went into Hollow Earth and encountered beings who were not happy about the way we're treating things.
That's interesting. It sounds like a Star Wars episode.
It does, doesn't it?
Even the guy's name sounds like a character in Star Wars.
Admiral Byrd. It does.
Yeah. He's like, Admiral Byrd going to the inner halls of the earth to find people that live down there. There's some people that think people live in the middle of the earth, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are homeless people that live in the tunnels in New York City. Does that count?
Right. To the point where I believe the statistic is that one homeless person dies. Roughly a person dies a day in the New York subway system, whether it's they've been hit by a train or they're just dead from being in tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of counts, right? They're living in like the subway tunnels.
Like how many times you think a train hits a person doesn't even realize they hit a person in those tunnels?
That's so sad. Like I don't know, but sometimes like, I guess they're going out on their own. So I kind of look at it that way. I mean, there was a guy that committed suicide right there where my mom lives on the train tracks a week ago.
Oof. Oh, really? Oof.
Yeah, Melrose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about that weather lady from Boston who was retired and jumped in front of a commuter rail train in the morning?
Jesus.
Like, what was that? Like 6 months ago, or something like that. Well, maybe more. Maybe like February. She was like in her 50s. She had a couple of kids and she was married, and she used to be on the weather. Used to be on Channel 7, I think. I forget her name. And then she had like a guy's name, but she was like Indian, and she jumped in front of the commuter rail and splat.
I always feel really bad for the train conductor because think about it, he can't do shit. Like, you know what I mean? And like he can he's obviously going to start to slow down. He's going to try, but most likely you're not going to have enough time. Just
think of you're like on the train connector and like and it's a school bus on the tracks. That's what the hell you do. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You just You know?
Just think of the psychological fucking damage it would do to you if you did that. If you hit to run them over, you know,
nothing you can do. You hit the brake. It takes a mile to stop a train, you know,
and you'd be traumatized,
right?
You know, well, I guess it depends how far the next stop. Some of the stops here you can stop because the next stop isn't that far. Like if you go from like, you know, Malden and Melrose and all those stops, you can actually stop.
Right. Yeah. Like the smallest subway trains. Yeah. I'm talking about like a freight train coming, like, you know, like a 50-car freight train is pumping around.
Yeah.
Remember that movie of, I think was it Denzel Washington?
Yes, it was. And Chris Pine. Yes.
Yes. The train was out of control going into like some city in like Pennsylvania.
It wasn't that bad. That movie wasn't that bad. I forget the name of it, but it was better than I thought.
I think it was as simple as Runaway Train. I could be wrong, but I think it was a very common name for the train. Runaway or...
I'm looking at it right now. It was... here we go.
Actually, wasn't a bad movie.
No, it's Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, right? Yeah. And then it was like this crazy S-curve that the train couldn't withstand, that it was going to derail, and it was full of like gas or something that was going to blow up.
It was one of those movies that wasn't very memorable, but it wasn't bad. It was like just one of those, it's on, and this is better than I thought. And
like those disaster movies, they're usually like, some are terrible, right? Like, remember there was like two. There was Armageddon and Deep Impact came out at the same time. And Armageddon was the better of the two. Deep Impact was like a poor man's version of Armageddon.
Well, they were two different kind of movies. Armageddon was way more of an action movie, and Deep Impact was more of like a drama with a little bit of action. Right. So they were kind of different.
And if you Google Deep Impact, you get a variety of stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get some interesting things.
Variety of movies come up for Deep Impact.
If you want to talk about good movies though, involving trains, there's a movie called Snowpiercer. And it has Chris Evans in it, who is, the guy who played Captain America.
Right.
And I actually, it's definitely out of his normal kind of movies. It's pretty violent. It has it's the future.
Brad Pitt's in it too, right?
No, Ed Harris is in it though. But it basically takes place. It's on this train. It's the future, and the rest of the world is basically in ice, and all the remaining people live on this fucking train that was built that just goes around the planet. Right. And you live, depending on your class, is where you live on the train. Like
right.
if you're like a bum, you're like in the fucking back section, helping to keep the train going. If you're more the richer class, you're
Right.
closer to they're connected, but like you can't go there. And the people in the back end
Yeah.
up getting sick of being in the back. So they revolt.
Okay.
And the whole movie, it's almost like a video game. Them just trying to get to the front.
Did they ever tell you why they're on the train, or why the train was the concept of the only way to survive on the planet?
Well, it was the only thing left. And like I guess like the technology for it to keep going, as long as the train doesn't stop, could to keep going.
So you're saying an object in motion stays in motion unless a source stops it, just like Newton's second law. Snowpiercer. You could Google that and probably get an interesting variety movie. Snowpiercer.
Winter porn.
Yeah, it's those action adventure movies that like have these wild endings to it. When like I feel like when we were kids, when we were like in the 90s, right? I feel like there was like every year they were mass producing, and every year there was two. There was always two similar ones that came out at the same
Disaster
time.
movies. Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
There was a
like,
stretch of that. Yeah.
And like because like even like when you look at Independence Day, they had a parody version of Mars Attacks, right? Which is kind of a goofy version of Independence Day, but it was
well, no, you had a disaster movie. You had two disaster. I remember that year. You had two disaster movies. Kind of. You had Twister and you had Independence Day.
Oh yeah,
you had those two. Yeah. That was the year. That was like the final era of the giant, big, mega budget disaster movie. And then they kind of fizzled out. They still make them, but nobody really cares anymore.
Right. Yeah, now they pump them out like every year. And it's like now it's like
every once in a while. Yeah.
I think it was cool back in the day when like the special effects were like up and coming. It was like something that no one's ever seen before. And now it's just like a kid in like middle school could do the same effects that was on Jurassic Park on his computer now.
Oh no, not Jurassic Park. Don't throw that out there. Jurassic Park is in the world. Jurassic Park uses animatronics. That's why they don't use as many CGI.
That is true. Yeah, a lot of those dinosaurs were like, I guess you could say that.
That holds up better than something like say. I'm going through a list.
You didn't think those dinosaurs are not? It was animatronics.
Oh god, they're probably like gross. They're probably sitting in like a warehouse, like broken apart and like friggin'.
I'm like absolutely shocked that like a company did not like capitalize on the Jurassic Park franchise and open its own version of Jurassic Park. Like I know there's some like weird like dinosaur land in Florida.
You can't. You know any kind of insurance?
No, not like real dinosaurs, but like really, really good animated or like stuff of that nature. Right? Like
I see what you're saying.
Because you get like Dino Land in Florida, and it's just like sculptures of dinosaurs you walk in, right? And then we went to this really cheesy thing at the Topsfield Fair. It was like a traveling show. And the giveaway that this was supposed to be was terrible was the fact that when we went online, the comments were disabled for each event, and they wouldn't tell you what the next one was, and only tell you which one was closest to you. And it was very hard to navigate the website. And when you get there, it was like $25 a person. So we figured, like, all right, we'll take Henry. He likes dinosaurs. So we walked around. We were done in about 20 minutes. Half the dinosaurs worked. The other half didn't. It was a very, oh god, it was just a waste of money. And like everyone, if you see everyone leaving, everyone was like, "Wow, that's a waste of money." And then like you go online and you can't even comment how bad of a waste of money is because they don't allow you even to share it. It's on my YouTube. I get one of the videos. I think it was like last. I feel like it was last summer because she was. Oh, is she pregnant still? So maybe it was right before. Maybe it was like April or like something like that. But yeah, it was borderline horrific. It was not good.
Oh, you know what actually dawned on me the other day, not to change topics too much, sorry, but it just dawned on me the other day, and it's coming to me now, is how, you know how we're going to and we haven't even said this to anybody on podcasts, we're going to Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Bachelor party thing. Right. And I was thinking today about how, do you realize you and I are going to have to get on the plane dressed up already? Because we're going from the plane to the fucking Derby. Like you realize that like I'm gonna get off my shift and like have enough time to take a shower and get dressed. I'm gonna be dressed in a goofy pimp suit on my way on our way to the Kentucky Derby with a stop in Baltimore. So they're gonna think we're a real Baltimore pimp. Yeah, you and I, people are gonna think you and I are like from like hitmen or something like that, going to like going to hit, gonna like knock people off somewhere. Well, I was talking to one of the guys last night. He was going and he has an all white, crisp, snow white suit he's wearing with a top hat. Is he an African American fellow? Puerto Rican. Okay, that can work. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he qualifies. A white guy can't pull off the old. He's gonna look like Lou Bega, the Mambo number 9 guy.
or the Spanish guy who was in Chuang Fu, Thanks for Everything, or in Summer of Sam. What the hell's his name? He kind of looks like him too.
It's like
You
Sean
know,
Penn.
no, he was also in that movie, One Deadly Night too. He plays the bad guy. He's the Spanish guy. You know what I'm talking about. If you see him, he plays very interesting characters. He was he was a tranny or a drag queen in Chuang Fu.
Oh, he's also John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo.
Yes, that is, yeah. He kind of looks like him.
Yeah.
So,
you can pull it off. Yeah.
Wear a pink striped suit. I think that's my approach.
I gotta get a better hat too.
A fedora.
I gotta change up what I wore to Belmont because I need to kick it up a little bit more. I dressed really nice for Belmont, so I gotta.
I want a nice suit, but I don't want to invest too much money in because I know it might get destroyed by the end of the night because I'm not taking that suit off. I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
All the activities afterwards. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That is a problem. So it's more about the hat for me. I gotta get a kick-ass hat.
Right. And I have an issue of pooping my pants sometimes, so I'm afraid of wearing white without an extra layer of protection in the back because that could be a real issue. That happened to me in Vegas once. I was wearing these. I bought these white. First of all, I don't know why I was shopping at Express because it's a very kind of a fancy guy's place. You know what I mean? Like the tight t-shirts and like the white pants and shit. Like back in the day. I think it was
Express has nice clothes. I mean, you could do worse. I mean, it's fine. But for that, you want to get something you're going to throw away.
It was in the Eurotrash section of the Express, and these pants were. I think I might still have them. They were super white, and I wore them to Vegas, and I was walking around the whole strip. And I've got stains, I got whatever, like shit on it. And then I might have misjudged the poop. And I think I had a little bit of splatter in the back. Which was
one of those ones you should have sat down to see if it was.
I gambled too much with that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to go and be considerate.
Hey, we all have, man. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you. You know, we all have. We've all been there. If you say you've never been there, you're fucking lying.
Yeah, my cousin says there's two people. He goes, there's people that have shit their pants and fucking liars. So there you go. Everyone's done it. Just hope it doesn't hit you at the bad time. You know what I mean?
Dan Cook once said, it's true. He's like, there's only a few absolutes in life. He's like, we've all lied, we've all cried, and we've all taken painful shits.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Oh yeah, and I'm on all these meds for my cold and stuff like this, and all these vitamins. And it's really doing a number on my whole digestive system. You know,
if you're already sick, they don't do anything. Those are preemptive strikes.
Well, no, I take my vitamins anyways every day, but it's mixing up with my stomach with just like that, like the Dayquil I'm taking and stuff like that too. That really fucking it up everything.
I mean, you could always just stop drinking for a week too. That could probably help.
How do you do that?
I mean, so you can function better and then start drinking again.
I always try to find a red wine. This is what the Italians drink. You know, maybe it's grape juice. Who knows? Let me get my vitamins.
It's the body of Christ.
Right.
The blood of Christ.
Blood of Christ. Jesus drinks wine, so do I. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So you can't see anything wrong with that. I think that's why Italians are really they just stick with the red wine because they don't feel like they're committing a sin. You know what I mean? Because Jesus, especially the real Catholic ones, right? Jesus Christ, you know.
Mm.
Speaking of which, the Pope is on his last leg. Huh? It looks like we're getting another. This will be a fourth Pope in our lifetime.
I heard. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I guess they're all old, but I didn't realize he was that old. This is the guy from Brazil, right? The current Pope.
I know his name is Pope Benedict because I always like saying his name like he's like the Emperor in Star Wars.
Right.
Pope Benedict.
I think this is the third of our lifetime because you had Pope John Paul.
Yeah.
He was the one
third.
that died like in the early 2000s. Then you had the guy that took over, and he was only there for like a year and a half. He died really quickly.
Did he die? Or he resigned, I thought.
He might have resigned because he was really maybe he resigned because he was ill.
I'm not into Catholicism, so I don't know.
But they, the thing, like when they have to pick a pope, I don't know who picks. They have the cardinals and stuff pick the pope, but they blow white smoke up the chimney when
they've made a decision. Yes,
right. Yeah,
the smoke rises. I guess it's cool.
You better hope it's on a cold day in Vatican City because the chimneys will be going. People will be very confused.
I mean, it's a great business. They have great paintings,
and they don't pay taxes.
I know, right? It's a wonderful business model they have going on over there. Works.
Yeah,
what they have locked up in their fucking vault.
The Catholic Church owns the most property in the entire world.
Really?
Could you figure? Well, they have claim to it for any churches. So how many Catholic churches do you have in your town? Probably at least 2, right?
Yeah.
Or at one time there was probably more, and then they've sold them off. Like that's the thing. Like I remember when the whole kitty touching thing was going on, and they had payoffs. there was a mass close down of churches in the Boston area, the Archdiocese of Boston, because they needed to pay the legal fees for all the shit. So Revere, there was like two churches that closed, two Catholic churches that closed in Revere, and they sold. That was the money. So they used some of the money for that. Because you got to remember too, if they sell the property, they don't got to pay taxes on that either. They don't got to pay taxes for anything.
I don't know about globally though, because it's not like there. It's not like Catholicism is in certain parts of the world a dominating religion. So around here for sure, but like the Rothschilds, like all those groups of people, like the royal family, they own a shit ton of
land. Right.
Like I don't know. That's a good question actually.
Well, you figure just in the United States alone, the amount of churches that are being owned, right, and how much property do they own that they're not even a church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many Dunkin' Donuts do you think the Archbishop owns? Imagine. He's like a Dunkin' Donuts franchise guy. He's investing all his money into Dunkin' Donuts franchises.
I'll tell you, I've seen quite a few like turned over to condos. Like you could tell it was a church. It's so obvious. It's still like a steeple, and it's weird. That's weird to me.
There's one down the street from my house. It's like they turned.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, I remember as a kid, I thought it was freaky. There was one in Lynn that went out of business. I used to drive by all the time, and they'd converted it into apartments. And I always thought it was the fucking creepiest shit ever. Like, why would you want to live in a church? Like, how many dead bodies were there at one point, like for funerals and stuff? And like, it's creepy.
This is my question. Okay, so if it becomes your apartment, you live there. Obviously, you're going to have sex there. Is that a sin because it was a church and it was blessed?
Could be. You might.
Makes me want to though.
Yeah. That's how Opie Anthony got in trouble. People were doing naughty things in the church.
Yeah, and all they could have done, they should have just went to an apartment that used to be a church, and they could have had the same thing.
They had the butt sex in the church. I think that was a real. I think that really bothered the
I can understand.
I was like, I remember that when we were like in high school, like we were just out of high school, and I was always trying to think like, how did they do it? You know what I mean? Like, how did they figure out like was like that must have been uncomfortable. First of all, the pews they go into a confessional. I don't know what they did.
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But
yeah, it was dirty.
Yeah, the thing for me too is I'm not one of those people. I don't even like having sex in public. Like I don't think I could perform the way some people get off on that. If that's your thing, that's cool. But like I personally don't want to be caught. I don't get any thrill from possibly getting fucking arrested.
Right, too much stress level to be able to perform at an accurate
Exactly.
It's not like you're doing community theater. You know what I mean? You're trying to do the Academy Award winning scene.
Exactly. So I mean, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, I just no fucking way. I don't think I can just maintain. There's no way.
I knew some people that were totally into that, and I was just couldn't get on board with it. And like, why? Like, what are we, animals? Can't we just go somewhere?
We kind of are. but you know what? Even worse than that, though, the kind of people that really I don't understand is the people that get arrested for like jerking off in parking lots, like in their car, right? Yeah. Is it that bad? You can't wait to get home.
Like, remember the catcher that the Red Sox signed over this, on the trading deadline? He got in trouble years ago for like playing with himself in the parking lot of the spring.
Yeah, he got caught in like a parking lot in his car. Like, you're that much of a deviant. You can't wait to get home to relieve yourself. I don't understand.
Pull over at a gas station bathroom and just do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's still bottom barrel, but at least that's better than just getting arrested for jerking off in a fucking parking lot. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you can't wait to get home. Is the urge that bad? How far are you away from home? Maybe 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. You can't wait to get home and then just go to town, get some lube, put on some porn. Because if you're going to sit there slapping your salami, your cell phone, right, watching something or watching people come out of a fucking Target, see, isn't that fucking bottom barrel? Like, you can't wait to get home.
Not to mention the cleanup process is probably a mess too, because you're not sitting in the ideal position to be able to have an efficient mop up, if you will.
Yeah, even a box of tissues, you're liable to like miss a shot. Like you might have some scatter. Gross.
Then you're touching steering wheel, and someone, like, say it's a rental car, that someone borrows the rental car. Now you want to go to rental cars anymore because now you go on those things.
Yeah, like the zip cars.
Yeah, those are the worst because no one's cleaning them in between.
Yeah.
Some of those zip cars probably sit there for years without anyone cleaning them.
Yeah.
I still don't know how that system I mean, I guess how it makes you. I guess you pay a membership for it and you get the money that way. But like how are they not having lots of lost cars? Like, what, you could have a fake account, go to a chop shop, take the car away, have no car.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know people that use them, and it's like
they like them.
No, it's efficient in some ways. In some cases, it's been cheaper than an Uber.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
Sometimes, not all the time, but there have been occasions where it is, and it's like the problem is sometimes getting the car without gas. Obviously, you can take a picture and report it, and then they're fined like $20. But the problem is right now, with the gas prices as high as they are, sometimes it's just cheaper to drain the tank and take the fine.
Yeah. Like I remember one time I only one time in my life I ever paid ahead on gas on a rental car. And I was driving from Dallas, Texas to Denver. And I remember I went to the Rockies game and I parked and the light was on. And then I didn't really realize how far the Denver airport is from downtown Denver. It's a good like half-hour drive too. So after the game, I'm driving to the airport for a red eye. And I'm like, this is before the days of like how many miles you have till empty. This is like 2008, 2007. And I feel like that thing was puffing like, poo, 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 as I got into the rental car place to drop it off. And I was like, yeah, I prepaid my gas in Texas, which was like $1 cheaper than it was in Colorado. So I made up on the deal. But I'm like, imagine if the thing ran out of gas. Like, how would they get that car to where they had to go? They would have to go off the gas can and turn it back on and shit. It's like,
well, I can one up something worse than that. I knew somebody. Actually, it was the guy who directed John Boy, that short film that I was in. It's still online. I still have it. I know you said you can't find it. I know exactly how to find it, but I'm not going to tell you. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a secret way. I guess I've tried searching many of times.
I know you have. I still have it saved on my thing, and it's still there. But anyway, the guy directed it. He rented out. He needed money, and he just needed some money really bad. So he was renting out his car to people on Craigslist.
Okay. I guess that's before. Like, what are they gonna do?
He got that thing back. I guess the people that rented it drove to like fucking Baltimore and back. Right? He got that car back. Visors ripped. Like just in like crap just on the windshield that he couldn't explain. It looked like we would think a soup kitchen would be.
Yeah.
And every seat's kind of torn a little bit. The seat, he said it felt like a little fucking, the seat felt off, like just like off its track. Like he said, it was not, he's like, I would never do it again.
So they have a system now in place in the bar I work at, the hotel it's attached to has this company, they used to have it, they got rid of it, but it was like, so if you're on vacation for 2 weeks, you can leave your car with this company, right? And for 2 weeks, they use it as a rental car and you get paid. Which seems like a crazy system, but like, what's guaranteeing your car being there when you get back on time, right? What's guaranteeing, like, I'm sure there's like an insurance or they hold a credit card or something like that, but that's not going to pay for the car that goes into the water. You know what I mean? No. And like, so like rental cars, they allow you to pick your own, like you can use your own insurance. You don't have to pay for theirs, right? Which is fine. The only drawback it is if there's a damage or like the car goes missing or goes stolen, they will charge you initially the full cost of the car or whatever it costs to fix. So like say you put it on your MasterCard or whatever and you went and you got an fender bender, right? But you're using your own insurance, but so you called your insurance company, went to the process. Because it's not your car, it takes a few extra steps to get to the rental car company so they can know they take the money. Well, plus there's another insurance agency involved, right? So y'all going around. Oh God. So you get in an accident, they bring it to the shop and they realize, oh wow, it's like 10 grand worth of damage. They will take the car that's on file and max it out. Or take the whole time out if they can. And then they hold it until the insurance clears.
What is this for?
Like if you got in a car accident with a rental car but didn't buy their extra.
Oh, insurance. Rental car. Yeah, I know. Right. Zip car is totally different because you said like your insurance. Zip car you're covered as long as you're.
So like imagine that you just get a small little fender bender and like there goes your credit card for the entire trip.
That would suck.
It also sucks buying the crappy insurance. Like what else are you actually buying with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Like I don't think anyone's ever sat there and read through the fucking contract for a rental car.
It's true.
Who knows what you're signing off on? You know what I mean?
There's a lot of things you can rent like that also just don't make sense. Like I remember you even laughed about this and I immediately did too, but you were the first to say something about it. Was our good friend Eric. I remember it was a Super Bowl one year and he said we should rent like a giant television. All right. And you were like, that's what poor people do.
Right. You buy the rent. So you go to rental center and you buy it, and it's like a $600 TV, and they make monthly payments on it, like $20 a month. Yeah.
Remember that?
The only people I ever seen use those places, I like especially this day and age where TVs are so cheap. You could just why wouldn't you just buy it and then return the TV the next day if you didn't want it?
Yeah. Do you remember that though?
Yeah. I was like, you're out of your mind. I bet he goes and rents his. I bet if he was alone and he wasn't in a relationship, he'd be renting his furniture there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2007. So today's the anniversary of 16-0. You know that, right? 15-year anniversary of 16 for the Patriots.
Why the fuck would I want to celebrate the past right now? When the
well, so it goes into a funny story. So that year they go to the Super Bowl, right? That was 2007, right? That's 2008 Super Bowl, and so at this point I'd already gone to a World Series game and a NBA final. So I was trying to get all the final games. So I was contemplating going to that Super Bowl. Obviously, hotel rooms are ridiculous. Rental cars were ridiculous. I was looking into renting a U-Haul truck by the day and then sleeping in the back of the U-Haul truck like a camper. And then using that to get around, like one of those smaller ones and stuff like this, and pay like $30 a day plus miles, but you're not really going anywhere. You're just bouncing around the Walmart parking lots. But I also realized that the desert isn't the exact condition you want to do that, because it gets extremely cold at night and extremely hot during the day.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Even in like February. So
no clouds. Oh, it all goes away. Right. There's no clouds. Yep.
Right. The temperature switches like 50 degrees. So I'd probably get locked into the back of it and then die of either frostbite or heat exhaustion. So, but it's not a bad idea.
No, it's not. It's not a bad idea at all.
Like they have the Home Depot trucks you can rent for $10. Like if I was gonna commit a crime like a burglary or like a bank robbery, I would just go there with a fake like credit card and rent one of those trucks, do my business, and then let's park it back as fast as I can. So if they switch it over again, some poor sap's driving home with like a bag of mulch in the back, and that car was found at a crime scene.
The only problem is you used your credit card previously.
Yeah, stolen credit card.
Oh, stolen credit card. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would require you mail fraud, because that means you would have to be ruffling through someone's mail to find a card you could use.
That's true. Or unless you're like a master pickpocket and grab it off someone's wallet in the street.
Right. And then you get their ID there, and then you can kind of like cut, like they do in the movies, they cut out the picture just perfectly, and they're able to put their picture like, it's seamless. Like
it's getting harder though. It's like nowadays they have like holograms and all these weird prints like on the licenses.
There's a chip in it. You know what I mean? Like there's like embedded inside like the super IDs. Have you got your super ID yet?
Oh yeah, I got that a couple years ago. Yeah,
I haven't got mine yet, because when I was up for the renewal, you couldn't go to the registry. You got to go there because it was still COVID time. So
I just beat that by like a month. Yeah.
I think they pushed it back to 2004 or something like that. 2024. So
yeah,
but
you have a passport though, so that kind of
my passport's like I still got like 7 years on that.
Yeah,
as long as I don't commit a felony and the court orders me to return my passport.
That'd be depressing.
I always think it's weird, because if the court's like, if you're like that big of a person that you could escape the country because you need your passport, wouldn't you be that big of a person to rent a private jet to fly you to another country?
Yeah.
Like,
but sometimes the heat of the moment, people panic. Like when things really collapse, If
I was in trouble and I've obviously had enough money, if I was going to be able to leave the country, I would charter a private jet from like a sketchy company to drive me to some like landing strip in the middle of Mexico.
Yeah. But the thing is, sometimes people just get really cocky. They're like, no, I can beat this. And then once the hammer comes down that they're not going to be able to, it's like, I got to flee.
Yeah, a lot of them get nervous, and a lot of them jump off buildings.
Yeah.
Like Bernie Madoff went to jail, but his sons were kind of like wrapped in secondary, and one of them killed themselves because of the whole situation.
Oh, shit. I did not know that, actually.
And our boy, Mr. Freed. Well, boy, he's in a pickle, huh?
Oh, he's fucked without a good night kiss. He is totally screwed. He still acts like, I'll probably be fine. I mean, but things are just continuously getting worse. Like
it's gonna get dirty, because you gotta imagine that the girlfriend and the buddy who was working there is probably singing like a bird, right? They have no legions to protect them, right? At this point, because now it's a matter of, all right, you can look at 20 years in prison, or you can talk to us and we'll get you like a slap on the wrist, home prison type shit for 10 years.
It should be a good open shut case because at least the good thing is it looks like there's maybe about 10 people involved. It's not as big as they initially thought it was, but it's still really fucking bad. What everything his everything he's done should be used in a business class of what not to do if you own a company. Like I
can't wait to Jonah Hill plays him in a movie in 5 years.
Speaking of Jonah Hill, he has a freaking thing on Netflix with him like in a session with his therapist. It's like a documentary.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
Oh god, I seen it on YouTube. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a kind of like a parody.
No, it's like him with his. He's got like mental health issues. He's very open about it. It's like him and his therapist.
I think I think to be a successful actor, you have mental health issues. To be honest with you.
Oh, for sure.
You're not like the rest of the crew. There's a special weirdness for someone to be wanting so much craziness, right? Attracted to them all the time, and like to have a job where you maybe do 10 minutes of work a day, and you spend the rest of the day just sitting there waiting. Like, what do you do? You must lose your fucking mind, right?
Not to mention, what did you have to do to get those lucky breaks?
Right.
Was it just your charm? Was it just they liked your smile? There's a lot of people who have great smiles, Arty. Right. But what did you do to make yours extra good?
You go to a karaoke bar on any given night, any town, USA, you will hear a singer that sings, if not better than most people on the radio. Okay. And there's a lot of people like that all around the world that have beautiful voices, could sing, write, all this stuff, but they don't get famous. Why? Because they don't play with the pickle when the guy asks them to.
Well, there's that is part of it, but also too, some people actually just don't have the fucking drive. Like it does take a lot of fucking work. That is true. Like it takes a lot of work. It's who you know. So not having that drive is part of it, but also too, what you just said is definitely right. Like Mark, we've talked about Mark Wahlberg before. Oh, God. Wow. I would love to know what he has done to become an A-list actor, because I have never seen a one-hit wonder rapper become an A-list actor with things he has done. He must have a great, or either that or he has a great fucking publicist.
So you're gonna officiate. He was a one-hit wonder rapper and an all right rapper with a catchy tune. Okay, we'll give it that. We'll still play it in the bars these days, 40 years later. But he goes from this tough guy rapper from Dorchester, bop guy, to I'm an insecure waiter who has a big penis and wants to be a porn star. Like that was basically the transition right there. Was he anything in between? Like what? He must have had some small roles, right?
No, before Boogie Nights, he was in a movie called Fear. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember Fear. Yes,
that was kind of like him coming back, like him coming into acting. That was like 96, 95, I think. I think Alicia Silverstone was in that too.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe not. Looking at it right now. Oh no, Reese Witherspoon. My bad.
Okay. Because Boogie Nights came out around 96, 97?
Still around the same time. Boogie Nights was 97, so a year later.
Okay, so I'll tell you an awkward story. I seen Boogie Nights with my grandfather when it came out to the movies.
Well, that's uncomfortable.
So me and my grandfather would go to the movies. Like on Saturdays, he drove by the house coming from Lynn to go to the movie theater. So you go see a movie. So you'd stop if I was home and see if I wanted to go. So I was like, yeah, I'll go for the movie. So, but it was no plan. So he showed up to the movie theater and he seen whatever was playing because he was there so often that like he just did whatever. Right? It was a regular thing for him. So he goes and we're like, what's this movie? I'm like, Boogie Nights. I never heard of it because I didn't really get into trailers or previews and stuff as a kid. So I go, I don't know, maybe it's a dance movie.
It does sound like, I mean, if you didn't know it, that sounds about right.
Right. So when the movie starts off, the opening scene's epic. It's a one-shot camera, follows them into the club, and they're sitting there at a VIP table, and you think, all right, they're in a disco boogie. I get this. Okay, I'll know that is. And then it goes to like, it fades out to what's his face, Mr. Mustache.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds directed a porn movie. Like in the smoky scene, and he's sitting there smoking a cigarette, and like the redheaded broad, she's there, and she's with some other guy. You know, I mean, this is before Marky Mark starts his career, I guess. But it was very awkward. I go, wow, this is a weird movie to see for grandpa.
Yeah, well, that is very weird. But at the same time, it bothers me too how actors who they look back on their career and they're like, I wish I didn't do this movie, dude. Mark Wahlberg talks about how like he regrets doing Boogie Nights. Dude, that's the movie that made you. Like, show some appreciation, you know?
like you could say this. You could be like, hey, listen, I made money on it. You know what I mean? You could use this with anything in life. I could use it with a DJ gig. Yeah, I made some money on it, but yeah, if I don't have to do it again, I won't. So you could say something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Anymore, but don't to write it off like it had nothing to do with your career or anything like that. It's just being lying to yourself at that point.
Like Burt Reynolds, he won an Oscar, and he never watched the movie. He never saw it. He hated it.
But isn't the idea of these guys being big actors their ability to play any character they want? Like that's the challenge.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily reflect who you are as a person. That's just your character.
Right on the head. Yeah, like a challenge or something you've never done before as a range. No, Burt Reynolds hated it. He fired his agent over it.
The guy was making orange juice commercials at that point. He was in Evening Shade, or it just got canceled. Remember that show, Evening Shade?
Oh God,
he ran like a motel or something like that.
Yeah,
it was Burt Reynolds was in it, and he was doing Tropicana orange juice commercials. This is all before Boogie Nights came out, so he was having a real downside of his career.
He was afraid his fans wouldn't recognize the kind of role he was in. That's what he said. Like he thought that they would see him differently.
No, who's the opposite of that? Who's the guy who was in Hangover? Bradley Cooper, right?
Yeah.
This guy enjoys playing every single different. I didn't know he was in a movie where he was a chef called Burnt.
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I know about it. Yeah. Christian Bale's another one. He's done so many different fucking roles.
Right. And it's like they're in movies sometimes you don't even know the movie. They're not all number A class movies. Some of them are like they do B's and they usually small ass movies, but their goal is to play every single character. And like and they do it very well. If you're a good actor, you do that very well.
You know who's the fucking king of that though, Artie?
Leo? Oh, well.
He's been everything.
but the funny thing, he has literally been every single profession you could be, including a weatherman, right? Well, he was an ex-con. But the problem is he plays every character he plays is the same character with just a different profession. When you think about it.
I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about this about a week ago. Is what hasn't we were trying to go down a list of everything Nicolas Cage. What hasn't he played yet? And in the end, we came down to two things: astronaut and veterinarian. That's about it. Because he has a movie where he's going to be a cowboy coming out, right? He has been everything: a scientist. He's been a freaking lawyer. He was
a cop in World Trade.
He's been a psych. He's been oh god, I could go through the roles.
Archaeologist,
all fucking dead. Cops. He's played a million cops. I'll go through his movies.
He's gonna be like I know the person who's in the most movies ever was Julia Roberts' brother.
Eric Roberts. Yep.
Eric Roberts. He has the record for being in the most credits in a movie because he just does all those stupid Lifetime ones and USA ones, and he may have small roles, big roles, but his IMDb is like the largest of like things he's been credited in.
Yeah.
But you got to figure like, what were we talking about? There's going to be someone like one of those characters to play all these roles are going to be close to that, you know.
He's played a vampire. He's played a firefighter. He's played cops numerous times. He's played a superhero. He's played a degenerate gambler. He's played like a tiger hunter. He's played a jujitsu master. He's played another Marvel character, Ghost Rider. He's played a treasure hunter, an ex-con, a criminal, a pig farmer, a family guy, a weather guy, a weapons dealer, a biologist. What was he in Leaving Las Vegas?
Honeymoon in Vegas, you mean? Or Leaving? Was he?
No, he was in Leaving Las Vegas too. He won an Oscar for that. He was in Moonstruck. He was also in Moonstruck. What was he in Leaving Las Vegas? He was in that though, but I forget what he was that.
He was holy shit, I forgot about that one too.
Yeah, it was Cher. Yeah, he played an angel in City of Angels. He played a sorcerer. He's played a bounty hunter. He's played a fucking car dude. He's played a sorcerer. He's played another investigator.
It's amazing. Quite the career.
Oh, a lieutenant in the Air Force. He's played a lieutenant in the Navy. He's played I keep going.
He plays them all well. You would never know it was the same person.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then another detective.
Hey, so anything you plug in these days?
No, man, I'm good. Just chilling.
No. Yeah. All right. And of course it's New Year's on from Sunday, so this will be our last show of the year. So everyone has a happy New Year.
I've been down some of my my new my new go-tos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But it was actually when those kick in, like a half hour.
No, not today. This is like
Oh.
I had some of these last weekend around the Christmas time, and this is going to be definitely New Year's stuff.
Nice.
Get some Kowloon and edibles.
You go to Kowloon's on New Year's Day?
I will. No, on New Year's Eve, I'm going to get some takeout probably.
Nice. I used to do that. I used to have the pop.
Yeah, I was there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's the year that Eric got his shoes peed on. I forgot we got Kowloon's that year.
Yeah. There was one year we got Kowloon's that year, and there was another year you and I, you, me, Suze were there.
Oh, we cooked a bunch of shit, right?
No, you, me, Suze, I think we're actually there on Christmas Eve. It was a long time ago, man. It was
Kowloon? It was Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes.
Was that we did a show? We went over there.
Yeah.
You can't go around with little Kowloon's.
Little Chinese food on New Year's Eve.
Well, alas, that place is only gonna be there for so long, so
it's true.
It is what it is. Let's rip it down. All right, guys. Well, that was a show. Like it, subscribe, leave some comments, and of course, you can be on the Wicked Explorers on where'sarty.com. Whirlwind Potato over there.
It's always there. Someday.
You
know what I need? I need like people to actually like work with me because they realize like it's just the process of doing it all by myself. It's getting harder as I get older. Not from a mental standpoint. It's just like you get older, you get more responsibilities, you get things to do.
The social media aspect of like sharing and everything too gets exhausting after a while.
It does. It's like there's things, and I'm starting to gather things that I've written about, and it's like I want to film them. I just
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. Toodaloo. Bye.
Peace.